Good writing. I'm Ted Cox. This one's called Use Your Brains and Vote. Thought this and that was the thing. The mold for the world in your thoughts are spinning till the winter moon died young. With the world on a plate and the world in your face, a dubious diktat procured with poetics brought pain and poverty into your right. And the guy with the hat said all this and that, promising you a better life. But that didn't happen, and it never will, because people like him never pay their bill. He just waves it away with a wave of his hand, and we're left to contend with the piper's demand. The sack of booze and the man on the road whistling softly for a dime or a dime bag. The trouble here is that there are people eating, sleeping, smiling, living a life some die try having without thinking of things that could move them to starvation. Yet they pray for a nation without taxes and more freedom, less government, more military. But to ask them to fight in a war for this country, it's like throwing a coin at the moon. When our mind stops turning and our thoughts grow numb, there's an old person waiting, blind, deaf, and dumb, and before you know it, it's you. And you're stuck knowing that you could have done something, but the whole world was against it, and you were too young or too scared to do anything about it. But how old is too old? And how old is too young? And if fighting a war or simply learning who to vote for was just a little bit easier, you might think about easing your family with tax breaks, your grandparents with Medicaid, or yourself with a security that should be there, but won't be there because of something like voting for the wrong person, or not voting at all, which refuses the plain fact that an informed vote has to be golden. And that some people in this world would fight and die to give their children's children the opportunities that you have. But what does it matter? We take it for granted until it's far too late to complain. And then we do. Because that's the way we've set it to be, because that's the way it's always been. But you'll regret it, you'll see, when you realize those guys who said it to be regretted it themselves on their deathbeds. But who cares what they said? They're all dead. And what does it matter? Your life is better than those lucky to live in a box. Or, instead of waiting, go out there and engage in something productive and not so self-centered, and maybe someday your children's children will have things better than you. Hell, you yourself will have things better too, especially when you see all the good you can do. And that's all there is. It's something to think of for sure, because life isn't handed, isn't brought to your door. It's something you make for yourself with hard work, not something you dream of at the end of the day when you're lying in bed thinking of something to say for yourself, some excuse to throw out in the world for why you stopped moving towards your goals and stood there standing exactly in the spot that was easy enough to get to, but too hard to move off. There's a challenge out there just waiting for you to give you something to do to make your world something true, and not a huge lie or a series of excuses, immeasurably harmful humanitarian abuses. Think of the things that you could accomplish if you turned your mind on and started to wonder if there was a better life, or even just a better vote, between that better life and your own. Use your brains and vote.